Welcome to one of the most compelling stories about how misfortune can sometimes be a hidden blessing. It's a tale that will challenge your perception of luck and adversity. Join us as we explore how a seemingly unlucky turn of events can lead to extraordinary opportunities and transformation. In the small town, there was no less desirable and lower-paying job than that of a doorman in a brothel. But what else could that man have done? In fact, he had never learned to read or write, nor did he know any other trade or skill. It was not even expected of him, as his father had been the doorman of that brothel, and before him, his grandfather had been as well. For decades, the brothel passed from father to son, along with the doorman position. One day, the old owner died, and the brothel was taken over by an impatient, creative, and enterprising young man. He decided to modernize the business a bit. He remodeled the rooms and then gathered the staff to give them new instruction. Told the doorman, "From now on, in addition to guarding the doors, you will be preparing a written report. In it, you will record the number of couples that come in each day. You will also ask each of them how they were served and what could be improved. And once a week, you will submit this report to me with any notes you consider appropriate." The doorman was alarmed. He had never lacked enthusiasm for work. "But I would like to comply, sir," stammered, "but I don't know how to read or write." "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You understand that I can't pay someone else to do it for you, and I can't expect you to learn to write so quickly." "Oh, but sir, you can't just fire me. I've worked here my whole life. My father was employed here, and my grandfather too." The new owner didn't let him finish. "Look, I understand, but I can't do anything for you. Of course, I'll give you some severance pay, a sum of money to get by until you find another job. So, I'm sorry. Good luck." And without waiting for anything else, he turned around and left. The man felt his world crumbling. It had never occurred to him that he might end up in such a situation. For the first time in his life, he was unemployed. What should he do? He remembered that when a bed or cupboard broke in the brothel, he had been able to temporarily fix it with a hammer and some nails. He thought that this might be his temporary trade until someone offered him a job. He started looking for tools around the house that he would need, but he found only a few rusty nails and broken pliers. He decided he needed to buy a toolbox and use part of the severance pay he had received for that. In the street where he lived, he learned that there were no hardware stores in his town and that he had to travel 2 days by mule to the nearest city to make the purchase. He thought, "What can be done?" And he set off. When he returned, he brought a beautiful toolbox full of tools. He had barely taken off his shoes when someone knocked on the door. It was a neighbor. "I came to ask if you have a hammer that you could lend me." "Well, I just bought it, but I need it for work. I lost my job? Okay, I'll return it to you early tomorrow morning." "All right then." The next day, as promised, the neighbor knocked on the door in the morning. "Listen, I still need the hammer. How about you sell it to me?" "No, I need it for work, and it takes 2 days by mule to get to the hardware store." "Let's make a deal," suggested the neighbor. "I'll pay you for 2 days' travel there and back, plus the price of the hammer. Full price since you're unemployed. What do you say?" It would actually be worth 4 days of work. Man agreed. When he returned, another neighbor was waiting at his door. "Good day, neighbor. Did you sell the hammer to our friend?" "Yes, I need some tools too. I'm willing to pay you for 4 days of travel and a small profit on each item. You see, not everyone has 4 days to travel to the city for shopping." Former doorman opened the toolbox, and the neighbor selected pliers, a screwdriver, a hammer, and a chisel. He paid and left. "Not everyone has 4 days to go shopping," echoed in the man's mind. "If that's the case, many people might need me to buy tools for them." The next day, he decided to invest more of his severance money and bring several pieces of tools that he had already sold. This way, he could save on travel time. The news spread around, and many of his neighbors decided not to travel for tool shopping anymore. Once a week, a man, now a tool dealer, would set off on his journey and buy what his customers needed. Soon, he realized that if he found a place to store the tools, he could save more time that he now spent traveling and make more money. So he rented a room. Then he expanded the entrance to the storage, and, after a few weeks, added a display window, and the place became the first hardware store in their town. Everyone was satisfied and shopped at his store. He no longer had to travel for goods because the hardware store from the neighboring city sent him the ordered items. He was a good customer. Over time, even people from surrounding villages preferred shopping at his hardware store, as they saved days of traveling. One day, it occurred to him that his lathe operator friend could make hammerheads for him, and then, why not, also pliers, wire cutters, and chisels. Then came nails and screws. Keep the story from dragging on, I'll just say that within 10 years, the former doorman became, through honest work, a millionaire, tool manufacturer, and the wealthiest businessman in the region. He was so wealthy that one day, on the occasion of the start of the school year, he decided to donate a school to his small town. In addition to reading and writing, it was to teach the most necessary trades of the time. The town mayor and the school inspector organized a grand ceremony for the opening of the school and a festive dinner in honor of its founder. After the dinner, the mayor handed him the symbolic keys to the city, and the inspector asked him, "With great pride and gratitude, we ask you to honor us by signing the first page of the official book, the new school." "It would be an honor," the man replied. "I think there is nothing I would like more than to sign it, but I cannot read or write. I am illiterate." "You?" said the mayor, astonished, unable to believe it. "You can't read or write? You built an industrial empire without knowing how to read and write? I'm amazed. I wonder what you could have achieved if you could read and write." "To answer that," the man replied calmly, "if I could read and write, I would be a doorman in a brothel."